Whoa. So it's been a minute since I've gotten on here and recorded a long form episode, let alone a episode of this podcast that I was trying to launch and figure out. And I realized I made some mistakes. One of the big mistakes was I was trying to do too much when I was getting married. I should have backed off. I should have been okay with taking more of a break, but instead I was kind of hiding in my work and I was workaholic a lot because I was stressed out, and that's tends to be what I do when I'm super stressed out. I go knee deep in all of my work, and I just bury my head into the sand and do as much as possible. But that's not healthy, and it's not good. And so I took some time off to get freshly married. We're a month into marriage now. It's going great. Really is. And so love my wife. She is phenomenal. But yeah, so got married. That was awesome. We went to Florida, to Orlando. We went to Disney for a couple days, hung out with some family down there and did some other fun stuff. It was honestly such a blast. So we really, really enjoyed that. But as soon as we got back, literally night one, our washer, the drain hose decides to pop out of the drain. Water goes everywhere. I go downstairs to help my wife begin cleaning it up, and I slip and fall and dislocate my shoulder. And so this whole shoulder pops out of socket. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, crap, I'm in so much pain. And so I pop it back into socket, and like it made all the crunchy gross noises and everything like you would expect hearing a shoulder pop. Like it made it. It was the worst. But man, like, oh my gosh, like all that happens, the shoulder pops back into place. We get upstairs because I was just done. At that point, I needed a moment to rest, and my elbow is bleeding, and somehow I cut myself, and it was a deep cut, and I needed a stitch, and so I had to go to the ER, get a stitch. That same week, I get super sick. I'm down for 2 days. That weekend, my wife gets a stomach bug. She's down for a couple of days, and it just was like crazy. And like so perpetually, like it felt like one thing after another. Our whole first month of marriage, like two people coming together who had never lived together before, living together for the first time, figuring all that kind of stuff out. And it was difficult. It was stressful. And in the midst of that, I didn't really have my rhythm. I didn't have my routine, but I'm just now starting to get back into it. And so over the past few days, really the past few weeks, I've been getting up early, going to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, starting my days back at 8:30, and really, really loving it. Like it's been this opportunity for me to recenter myself, get my day started well, accomplish some things before anyone has the chance to bother me so that I can succeed well in the areas that I want to succeed in. And so that's been really, really helpful. And it's reminded me that to get back into the swing of things, you really do have to develop systems to be consistent. If you want to succeed or thrive in life, specifically as a creator, right? Because Craft Creates is a podcast all about helping you, the creator, create things, right? You need systems in place to create well. And that was one of those things that I was realizing I didn't have a system in place to create well. I didn't have a system in place to create my podcast. I didn't have a system in place to create short form videos. I didn't have a system in place to create my long form videos. I didn't have a system in place to do all these things that I wanted to do. And so over the past few weeks, I've been developing systems. I've gotten super into Notion. Notion has been one of my favorite things recently. I busted out a ton of short form videos today in a matter of probably it was probably less than an hour to make 12 short form videos because I have just been curating a list of tweets and LinkedIn posts and stuff from my blog that I've been writing and thinking about and pondering for a while. And so I have this whole Notion document of all this stuff, and I just popped it up and I just read from the teleprompter, right? Like I just was like, all right, we're going to make these short form videos and we're going to get them engaging and we're going to figure it out, right? And so that's been the system I've used to create that. I've started scripting out the videos for the long form content so that I can get there and I can get that stuff made. I'm working on this podcast. I'm scripting this podcast out. I'm figuring out how I'm going to get this stuff rolling so that it can be created well. And really the thing comes down to, I just need a system in place. I need a system in place to create well so that I can pop stuff out for you guys, the people who I want to create content for. And so really been like messing around with that, figuring out when is going to be my day to record. I think Thursday nights is probably going to fall into that for me because Friday I just have to get up and go to the gym. I really don't have anything else going on Friday morning to work or anything like that. Friday's my off day, so that's is wonderful. So I think that is like a huge part of this for me, is like figuring out that day that I can sit down, record for a couple hours, and then call it a day. And so I think this is what Thursday is going to be for me. And the thing with systems, is you develop a system and you're constantly tweaking it. You're constantly tweaking it because one thing or another is going to happen, and a system may break, and a system may not serve you in another season or anything like that. So you're going to have to be redeveloping systems. You're going to constantly be evaluating them. You're going to be constantly figuring out if this is the right thing. You're going to be constantly moving and tweaking and processing through things, and that's okay. Systems aren't meant to be permanent. The mission is meant to be permanent. The method will always change. The method and how you communicate, the method and how you create, the method and how you even show up on digital platforms will always change, but the mission shouldn't. So the system for me right now is Thursdays and Notion and getting those kind of things working tandem so that I can create really good content for you guys. And so, yeah, that's the plan. That's where we've been. That's where we're really figuring it out. And you also may notice the setup looks a little crispier this time around. The just chatting thing is gone, and it's just me and my face. Well, that's because I'm no longer using a little rinky-dink Logitech webcam. Actually, so this webcam was better than the one I originally had. I had a small 720p that's a 1080p webcam, and it's really great, actually. I do love that webcam, but I won that from a Think Media giveaway forever ago, and so that was super great of them. But I finally got my Canon M50 hooked up to my PC, was able to get the settings just right so that I have the perfect scene to sit down, record directly to my computer, have little editing functionality because I want to get this podcast out and I'm going to get these short form videos out. So I want to make sure that I'm like not having to move an SD card around or do any of that kind of stuff. I want to create as little barrier to entry as possible so that I can create content and get stuff done. And so I've created a system where I have limited barrier to entry so that I can just create things. And so that has resulted in a crispier looking setup. And I have to say, I think it looks pretty good. I think I look pretty all right. Pretty awesome in the setup. So yeah, like that's what's been going on. So the setup is cleaner, systems are in place, and man, it has just been stupid crazy over the past few weeks. And it's like, it doesn't slow down. For my day job, my 9-to-5 job, I'm a youth pastor. We have our biggest event, that we do every winter this first weekend of March. And man, the most amount of students ever have signed up for it. And I'm super excited for it. It's going to be awesome, but it's busy and it's a lot. And so that's even reminding me that both in my work and in my side hustles, in my personal life, I need systems that serve me well so that I can be at my best constantly. And you yourself, you need systems that will serve you well so that you can be at your best constantly, so that you can create at your best, so that you can best serve your clients, so that you can cross off those items on your list and get to where you want to be by the end of the year, because you deserve to get to where you want to be by the end of the year. The goal is, right, whatever it is, to achieve it. Like, you don't want to be a loser at the end of the year and not achieve your goal, right? No, you want to be a winner, you want to succeed, and you want to thrive. Well, to succeed, win, and thrive, you got to develop proper systems. And so that's my trick to you. Like, man, figure out what system it is for you that you need for creating. For me, it's been using Notion as a place to store all of my ideas, to make sure everything is in one clear document. And then also it's been getting my setup like really solidified, really streamlined so that I can create effectively and limit the amount of time of me doing other menial tasks so that I can get content pumped out immediately. But hey, that's just the ramblings of a guy who's been creating on the internet for a while and just wants to help you create at your best and help you get out there and share your story. And so, hey, my name is Craft. We're back on Monday. That's when this show normally releases, not on Saturday. But I wanted to get an episode out to you guys. So you're welcome. Enjoy this episode of the podcast. I hope it was fun for you. We're back on Monday and we're talking about crushing your 2023 goals, even if you are behind, because it's the end of February. I get it, right? Like, and maybe you're like looking at your goal list and going, man, I am behind. There seems like no way that I could possibly catch up. And here is what I want to encourage you, my friend. You can. You can catch up, you can succeed, and you can accomplish your goals. And we're going to talk about how we do that on Monday. I'll see you there.